I don't recall the last time I checked on Alfonso in the daycare, but legend says that every day he grows more and more powerful, and that one day he'll try to escape and will be shot in the head by the daycare staff because uprisings are not allowed. The other thing that stood out to me was Elmo's hands on the side of the car. The pedals are no doubt cuddling with his feet, but how does he change directions? My only conclusion was that he must have some fifth appendage hidden just out of sight that he only pulls out for special occasions. That can't be the case. We all know Elmo doesn't pull out. You're given trap rounds for the rivet gun that you're supposed to use to fend off the splicer's lamb's ends. You don't need them though. Jesus got through life just fine without any guns. I knew for a fact I wouldn't have to fight King DDD again. I remembered how this game went when I played it as a children. I gave the DSM to Shepard and got a nice shot in the gut for my troubles. Some soldiers played jump rope with my body. I killed another Big Daddy, then played with his body. Just like when you're a kid playing with a ball, the fun stops when you kick it into the stratosphere, with no way of knowing if that crypt is the right one until you reach the end. Just like how you don't know if your life has any meaning until you die and see what your score is. This was the most stealth-oriented part of the game by a metric mile. There was a guy missing an arm, and I think somebody got shot. Seems kind of violent for a kid's game, so that's probably not what happened. So I stripped him naked, talked to Elliot, whose face bothered me for some reason, talked to the samurai, talked to Red Dead Redemption. Upon arriving in Kvatch, something seemed off. Some idiot spilled red paint on the clouds. Before traveling with the wizard, I spent some time pestering Ernie with the prospect of friendship by walking back and forth in front of him, making him think I wanted to speak to him, only for me to keep on walking. I was voted the quietest guy in my high school class. I know how loud Ernie is screaming inside his head. It's kind of fun to be on this side of it. Also, and this is not relevant to the video in any way, I just want to make it known that I have a sealed copy of Elmo's Letter Adventure for the Nintendo 64, and you don't. And had a glimmer of hope as I saw Tenpenny Tower. I knew for a fact that I could use that as a lighthouse of sorts and cast myself deeper out to sea until I drowned in my own disappointment. Vulpes was waiting for me outside. I couldn't put that conversation off forever. I had to have it. Vulpes was adopted. His mother is both infertile and imaginary. Now you might be thinking that I wasn't alone because there were Brotherhood soldiers with me, but being alone is mental. You can be surrounded by friends, families, laughs, and love on Christmas morning and still be all alone in your head. Then I thought I took damage. It wasn't damage, it was a friendly plane blasting a JFK-sized hole in the building. My NCR armor made it so the NCR wouldn't attack me. I took it off to provoke them all. I acted in self-defense by committing numerous war crimes. My throwing spears were broken and wouldn't fly. Stupid fucking game. In close quarters, it's a fruitless endeavor, like putting the pieces of a broken coffee mug back together. I miss that mug. One brute dropped a fuel rod that I picked up and put to good use. Then I picked up another RPD with an ACOG, and nobody could ever hope to stop me. Some people did, but I consider them cheaters. The Pelican arrived. Captain Keyes took my package. I agreed to stay behind against my will. I got into combat for the first time, drilled a drill-sized hole into someone's chest cavity. I'm not entirely sure what happened next. It kinda looked like I got felt up by an Enderman, but that couldn't be right. Step 1 was terrifying Moira into submission with tales of how Raid Shadow Legends is more of a threat to humanity than Ebola and the coronavirus combined. There are also very light puzzle elements at play here. The only kind of puzzle I can tolerate is a connect the dots with 2 dots. Because a whore called out to me, her friend bonked me on the head with a head and stole my money. Mr. Krabs would have killed everyone in the station had that little stunt been pulled on him. I began the hunt for Magda, who was a servant of Belial. Did I say that she served Diablo earlier? Maybe. That wasn't a lie, it just wasn't the truth. And the laws of our universe dictate that he cannot be destroyed here. But if there's one thing Sean Bean knows how to do, it's die. A bucket took a little trip. The number of bear traps I activated for sexual reasons turned my ankles into a fine powder. We made it to the mesmerizing shores of Point Lookout, where the grass is green and the air is even greener. I got startled by 2 grunts and jumped off a building, which sprained my left ankle. I consulted a doctor about it who flunked out of medical school and took his advice by killing myself. It works with Archimedes 2 to call down a laser of energetic death to wherever your heart desires. Being a futuristic, Nazi-dominated world's version of a Polly Pocket, it has its own set of drawbacks. I waited in place, next to her, standing in place for 24 hours. Then another 24 hours because she's slow and stupid like a turtle that survived a gunshot wound to the head. I wasn't sure about the math, if it checked out or not, if the benefits of this shirt outweighed the benefits of the one I replaced that restored magic 75% faster. 75 is more than 50, but 50 plus 12 is also less than 75. However, because 50 is 2/3 of 75, and you can never have more than 100% of anything, you add 2/3 of 100, which is 66, to the 12 to get you to 78, proving with the power of mathematics that my new armor is better. Then came the epic space battle, the Mass Effect 3 of Fallout 3's 5th DLC. I've never played Mass Effect, but I would assume it's basically this. This was anticlimactic. Point Lookout has its fair share of new creatures in the form of backwoods knuckleheads who love their father like a brother loves their mother's sister. Around here I became incredibly aware of what I was doing, how I was just sort of looking left to right and shooting everything I saw. Like most existential crises, it went away after I killed somebody. I must obtain a Daedric artifact. This would be the first of many impossible tasks I was ordered to complete. But where there's a will, there's a smith. Having restoration at 50 before that wouldn't really help me out all that much. If you're wrapped in a chain and dropped into an empty bathtub to drown, a snorkel won't save you. A wise man once said, "Hi, Billy Mays here," and he was right. There's gotta be a better way. With all those slugs safely stashed away in my pants, I bought more gene tonic slots and went to Pawn Stars where my name is Rick Harrison and my dad is dead. After it took 3 grown men to abduct a baby with a gun, the lever-action gun rifle could kill mutants with a single shot if you land a shot that kills them in one hit. But even that doesn't solve the base problem. It's 2020, nobody wants to use their hands anymore. Before journeying towards more death, some jackass hit me with a grenade and killed me. Not the explosion, the grenade itself, bouncing off my soon-to-be corpse, is what made me dead. I went ahead and pushed his body down the stairs and cut off his limbs to make it look like his death was an accident. Not that he died, I am 3-Dog. Someone who definitely isn't 3-Dog killed themselves on my stairs. Some Neanderthals gave me their bullets to hold in a pretty rude way. I'm also not worried about offending any blind people. It's not like they'll be watching this. Poison Rune does 3 damage per second for 30 seconds. That 3 damage is not a lot. It's barely more than a fork. But the fact that it lasts for 30 seconds is what makes it useful. 30 seconds is longer than you think. Ask anyone who's ever been on fire. That annoyed me, so he had to die. His fellow guards didn't appreciate his death, but their opinions meant nothing to me. By the time they were all dead, I was still 3-Dog. I didn't really do all that much here. I was about as useful as a comatose toddler with a Nerf gun at Pearl Harbor. Leveled up, put all the points in explosives, because I'd recently bought a missile launcher from the Scholastic Book Fair. This beautiful mustachioed corpse effectively had an armory where his kitchen should be, and I took advantage of that in more ways than you can imagine. Let's just say that his toaster should be getting a visit from the coat hanger fairy in a few months, if you know what I mean. I also paused the challenge to satisfy a curiosity of mine regarding the birds in the sky that don't reel because birds aren't exist, where of course I could meet Snuffles and fix his leg. Any doctor worth their weight in styrofoam cups can fix a broken leg with their feet. I'm not a doctor, but I did go to high school with someone who is now a registered nurse, so I think I know a thing or two about medicine.